Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, today we're talking about the one, the only beloved Zebec network. Now, yes, I am recording this right after I did the news one. That's because, ladies and gentlemen, we had already like 10 to 11 minute video of just pure news and pure information that I didn't want to overwhelm you with the technical analysis. So we can see, ladies and gentlemen, in the last month, we are down just 2%. Right, just 2%. And we know overall that two things: A, we have been ranging for some time, and B, there was literally a humongous crypto crash where I've seen altcoins in real time go minus 85%, and yet Zebec on the month is only down 2%. I mean, guys, like I said, this crypto has been holding its own and it has been doing amazing. Okay, and that's just the truth. That is just the truth. And we will be talking about the charts, right? We will be talking about some of the selling pressure, buying pressure, and etc. But overall, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, this crypto has been doing absolutely wonders. We can see in the last 7 days, we are down 11%. Like I said, this is mainly due to the crash and the manipulation. Overall, in the last day, we're also down 10%. So mainly in the last day, right before the Kraken listing, we did get a sell-off a little bit, and to be honest, that's okay. That's what usually happens right before a listing. That a sell-off does usually happen because a lot of people think good news is coming out, automatic pump, and that's not necessarily how it works. I know if you're new, that might be confusing. It's like, what do you mean good news doesn't mean automatic pump? Guys, welcome to crypto. Welcome to manipulation. Okay. That's just the truth. I'm just here to tell you the truth. We can see we're ranked 133, ladies and gentlemen, 9,487 active cryptos. Yeah. Almost 400 million market cap, 30 million volume. We can see, ladies and gentlemen, we go to Kraken, right? It didn't bring the most amount of volume, right? It only brought in, 400 something thousand. But it's still better than nothing. And we know overall the purpose of Kraken is to bring in, the big boys, the market makers, people that bring in serious money, right? We know it's a stepping stone towards Coinbase and Binance. We can see, ladies and gentlemen, growth has been amazing, right? We have been going up pretty much 100 holders a day, sometimes 70 to 150. It's a wide range, but overall, ladies and gentlemen, the growth has been amazing. And I would not be surprised if by the time, December hits, Christmas hits, we would be at 90, 91, 92,000, if not even higher, right? And yeah, I mean, I just can't wait for the day where there's going to be a lot of bandwagon. When crypto really does start becoming mainstream, when Zebec starts really rising, we're probably going to see thousands of holders join onto this bandwagon, right? It's the truth. Probably thousands of people every single day buying up Zebec. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, right? When we go to the technical analysis, we can see, ladies and gentlemen, that Bitcoin is at 111,000. But the main thing we're looking at is our beloved Zebec. Now, I will say that we have just been in a mini range. So we've been in a big range and we're in a mini range. So when we go and look, the big range overall, right, on a higher time frame is generally around the 0.00, let's just say 52. And at the bottom, it is more of a 0.0037, right? So this is our big range. But then when we go and look at the last couple of days, our mini range is kind of between the two, but it's kind of also just been, between the 0.004 and let's just say the 0.0047, right? It's a little bit smaller. Yeah, we sometimes go a little bit lower, a little bit higher, but generally that's what it's been. Now, we also talked about how, we were looking to break out of this, and that's exactly what we did. But here's the reality, ladies and gentlemen, that I unfortunately fear. So for me, what I personally see based off my technical analysis is that we are consistently creating lower and lower highs. Now, when we go on the 4 hour, we can see, ladies and gentlemen, boom, we have a high here, we have a lower high here, and then we have this box. This box for me is what I call an institutional candle. These two candles right over here, and I'm not going to go into the details of why, etc., but these are institutional candles. What do we see? We see price go up, right? We see price go up into these institutional candles, but price closed all the way down here by the time the 4-hour chart was done. So, all right, for me, we are just consistently going into institutional candles, and we are looking to be generally going lower, in my personal opinion. We also do have a lower high over here, and we have another lower high here. Now, in the short term, and I mean the short term, we could potentially go upwards to 0.0046 before we do one final sell-off. Now, the reason why I say this is because even though we are consistently creating, high, lower high, lower high, lower high, right, we might get potentially one more tap in before the sell-off. We can see price action is weak, but Zebec loves going like wicking up before it sells off, right? We've seen it before up, kind of go sideways, up, boom, it does it for the third time, then a big sell-off, right? It loves going into candles multiple times before it sells off. I mean, it is the same thing here, right? Boom, 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 boom. We pretty much had equal highs here, and then we sold off a good amount before then we went up, and then sold off kind of heavy, right? It loves to tap into stuff multiple times. So for me personally, I would be looking into this right over here, more or less this zone, for it to sell off. And once it does that, I mean, we should be probably coming back down at least to 0.0038. Now, I get it, ladies and gentlemen, some of you guys might be confused, right? But I just tell you what I see, right? I tell you what I see with my years of experience. So, there I am looking for, Zebec to come up to here, and then come back down to most likely around the 0.0038 area to see how we react off there. Okay. Right. Just because there's good news in terms of Kraken and whales buying, that doesn't automatically mean pump, ladies and gentlemen. We've seen with the markets lately, right? No one was selling to the point where, crypto crashed for so many coins, 75, 80, 85%, especially within an hour, ladies and gentlemen, right? It was all market makers in the background. Then that's what's going to be moving price anyways, and then they're the ones that are in control. These whale purchases only mean so much at the end of the day. Okay. And that's just the truth, right? That is just the truth. So for me, I am looking for Zebec to bounce off the 0.0047 before we sell off and retest the 0.0038. Now, is there a possibility where we just kind of are going to be weak here and then do this first? Yes, but just knowing how Zebec likes to, like I say, tap into certain zones multiple times, I really do expect Zebec network to go back up to here at least one more time before selling off. Now, when we go to the daily candles, right? And when it comes to the edges, like I said, we are consistently, we have a high, lower high, lower high, right? Although we do have a low, higher low, higher low. So we do have to make a choice. That is why I'm just saying for the short term, I want to see a sell off here and a bounce off the 0.0038. And then we'll see what Zebec does in the very, very near future. But that is ultimately it, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what you guys think. Remember, just because the technical analysis bias is a little bit, bearish or selling, doesn't mean I'm necessarily against the crypto. And, just in case some people believe me saying that's going to go down means, it's going to go down. That's not how it works, because if I said it's going to go up, it doesn't mean it's going to go up, ladies and gentlemen, right? So remember, there's no hate on Zebec. We love Zebec. I'm just here to report the technical analysis. I love you guys so much. Ladies and gentlemen, hope you guys enjoyed your weekend. I know it's been a couple days since the weekend. I mean, we're almost back at another weekend, but hopefully you guys are enjoying life. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this October. the fall. I mean, for some people, it still might be kind of like summer weather. But anyways, that is it. Hope you guys did enjoy. Love you guys so much. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.